Hi guys, Maikeru here. This is my video on the new Nodon Dragonkin, and I have an optimal and full AFK guide. You can AoE like 3 at the same time and get them all grouped up so you can kill them super easy and super quickly. There is also no risk to this method whatsoever, so it's absolutely lovely. So let's get right into it. Starting out, I do just want to say there are 2 tasks that these can actually be done with. You can get the Dragon Cluster tasks from Laniakea, and you can also get the Nodon Dragonkin as a task. So there's 2 tasks. They do work for Dragon Clusters as well, and the Dragon Slayer perk does work on them also, which is pretty neat. Which means you can prefer both of these tasks if you're hunting just this one, which helps a lot. They do require 92 Slayer as well, so the Slayer requirement is fairly high. Going into the actual method, if you make and upgrade your ring after the quest, you can teleport straight there with that. If you haven't got the ring, you will have to go to the dig site and enter through the entrance there, as you can see on screen, although the ring is so much quicker and more, convenient. You want to go to the northern area and place your Odak coil in the middle of that, marketplace, and go all the way up to the top of the stairs, and stand directly at the top next to the wall. You want to be in legacy mode, so you can go and use Blood Burst. That will just allow you to AFK and AoE with no issues. As you can see on screen right here, my Odak coil aggroes these ones and DPSs them, while I line of sight them all so they all group up and I can AoE them down efficiently. You can use pretty much any aura you want. I tested Vampirism aura, it made it even more AFK, although doing it with Penance or Marjora or something was completely AFK as well, and there was never really a time where I went low on HP, so you don't even need the Vamp aura. I'd probably advise something that's going to give you more damage, or fully AFK with Penance, because it keeps your prayer up the whole time. Absolutely lovely. The only thing that you do need to make sure is that your animate dead does not fall off, and your overloads are applied. These things hit very hard, so if your overload drops, you'll probably die if you're too AFK, and same with the animate dead, as it's preventing quite a lot of their damage. So as long as your buffs are up, you can AFK. I would set like an AFK warden notification on Alt 1 or something, and just have it notify you whenever your buffs are going, and then you can just chill for the rest. The only downside of this method is you do have to run to the bottom of the stairs to loot, because you can't loot from where you're standing, because you're line of sighting them. So other than moving for loot every couple of minutes, there's nothing to it. Now we've spoken about the actual tactics, which is really simple, we move to the setup. In this setup, if you don't know any of the items, I'll leave a link to them in the description, but I'll quickly comment on some of the key things. 1, Weapon Poison and Cinderbanes are amazing here, so I'll be using both of those. Blood Reaver also works pretty well because every time you heal, it deals additional damage, so the Blood Reaver familiar is your best familiar here. You don't need scrolls in it, it's just a passive effect. You're going to want to make sure you have your runes for Blood Burst and Animate Dead. And the thing with Blood Burst is it caps at 79, so you don't actually need a high tier weapon whatsoever. So a Camel Staff is actually better than a Nock Staff here because of its passive effect. It has a chance of putting a tornado that deals some damage. Also, the Camel Staff gives you unlimited fire runes, so you don't even need fire runes for this setup if you're using a Camel Staff. If you're using a Nock Staff or whatever, then you will have to have fire runes in your setup. You really don't want to use a higher tier spell than Blood Burst, because if you go up to Barrage, you're using literally 2 blood runes every cast instead of 2 deaths. And that's going to cut into your profits so heavily. So, I mean, if you're going to use anything, you might as well use a Camel Staff, save some money, and deal more damage. I'm using a Seasinger Helm and Ganodermic Boots for the Animated Dead ability, so 2 pieces of tank armor, because I have my Slayer Helm on the stand. If you don't have your Slayer Helm on the stand, you will be able to do it with just the boots, or you can, I guess, sacrifice a bit of damage and get tank gloves as well if needs be. But you should be fine with just the boots, but the boots and helm is just even more AFK. The Odak coil aggroes them all up, but you kind of want to have the auto reload feature from the Artisan's Workshop, so it can automatically be reloaded from where you're standing. Otherwise, when you're running back, you're going to have to keep reloading it. I guess it's not too bad because you have to loot anyway, so you can reload as you loot. But just for convenience, the auto reload feature is amazing. I did 5 tasks here, so a bit under 700 kills, and I managed to get 1 of the upgrade kits. I got the Kinetic Cyclone one, and it sold for 3 million GP. It's not too bad, but it's definitely not great compared to the Odak coil and the normal cannon upgrades. They're going to sell for way more because they're used way more. Kinetic Cyclone is the one that's used the least. These upgrades do make your cannons deal double damage though, so they're 100% worth it, especially if you're doing something that, really focuses on it, like this method, or Hellhounds, or, Moss Golems. These upgrades are very good. Also, one thing I do want to say, when I bought my Blood Reaver pouches, it wasn't buying for 700k, so I just wanted to see how much it would insta-buy for, and it instantly bought for 4 million GP and instantly sold at 103k. I definitely would not advise trying to insta-buy these pouches if you're going to use a Reaver. I slow bought loads for 125k each afterwards, so definitely slow buy your pouches. Don't do what I did and spend 4 mil on a pouch. That's not wise. When it comes to their normal drops, they're not too great. As you can see here, in 700 kills I got 18.8 mil. But that was inflated with some of the salvage prices being too high, and also the Cyclone kit being 5 mil and it only sold for free. So in reality, the money I actually made was about 15 mil, and 5 mil of that was in Dragonkin bones. So I probably would recommend bringing notepaper to note those bones, as that's a big chunk of your profit if you want that. So every time you loot, just note them, I guess, and that'll make you a decent amount. And that is it for this video. Do give it a like if you did enjoy it, subscribe if you're new for loads of future content all related to RS3, and as always, until next time, see ya.